I always thought the worst kind of betrayal would come from an enemy, not from the two women who claimed to love me most. But the day I found out what my wife and my mother were hiding was the day I knew my family would never be the same again. I fell in love with Amanda the moment I saw her, not in a poetic movie-style way. No, it was real. My heart didn't just skip. It jumped like Nepa light during a thunderstorm. There was something about her. The way she looked at me like she already knew me, like our souls had met before. From that first moment, the world faded. I stopped hearing car horns. My friends were talking, but I couldn't hear them. I was hearing wedding bells in my head. I wanted to marry her immediately. In fact, I nearly proposed after 1 month. I bought a ring and everything. It was Amanda that slowed me down. She laughed when I brought it up and said, "Chris, calm down. Love needs time to breathe. Let it settle before you cage it." So I waited. Exactly 1 year later, I dropped to one knee at Jabby Lake, sunset and all, and this time she didn't say calm down, she said yes. A month after, we were married. I was the happiest man in Abuja. I mean, I'd won. Amanda wasn't just beautiful, she was peace. The kind of woman that could look into your chaos and still smile like God whispered to her that everything would be all right. We were happy, deeply happy. We didn't want to ruin that happiness too quickly, so we agreed we would wait 2 years before having children. We needed time to enjoy the marriage, to laugh without baby monitors, to sleep without crying at 2 a.m. Also, I wasn't in a financial place to start raising children. I was managing a marketing job at a bank with a shaky paycheck. Amanda sold wigs online, but you and I both know how unreliable that business can be. So we made a decision. 2 years, no babies. 3 months into our marriage, my mother came to visit from the east. She came with a Ghana must-go bag full of spices, dried fish, wrapper, and unsolicited advice. But I love my mother. I'm her first son, the eldest of 3 boys. Ever since my dad passed after my younger brother's birth, I've been like a small husband to her. And when she met Amanda, she fell in love immediately. It was like Amanda gave her back something life had taken. They started wearing matching Ankara to church. My mother would sit on our balcony, gisting with Amanda about tailors, wedding guests, and how I used to cry when I was small. They bonded faster than I expected, and honestly, I liked it. Until one evening. About a month after Mama left, I came home from work, tired but happy. Amanda made a goosey soup with pounded yam, my favorite. I devoured it like a man just rescued from a desert. I was pressing my phone, trying to unwind, when she sat next to me and said, "Honey, I have something to tell you." The way she said it made me drop my phone immediately. I looked at her, and before I could even ask, she said it. "I'm pregnant." I froze. Everything inside me paused. It was like time stopped and restarted, only for me to hear the echo in my head. Pregnant. Pregnant. I stared at her, trying to find the joke, but she wasn't laughing. She was crying. I wanted to be happy, truly, but all I felt was fear, raw, unfiltered fear. Pregnant? But how? We agreed. 2 years, remember? Amanda, 4 months, and you're pregnant? I thought you were on birth control. She wiped her face. I was. I promise I was. But it happened. I didn't know how to tell you. I was scared. Scared? I said, my voice getting louder. You should have been scared before you skipped your pills. I told you we should use protection. But no, you said it felt better raw. You said the pills were fine. So what happened? I don't know, she whispered, her voice breaking. I thought I was safe. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. But that night, something shifted between us. From that day, I stayed out later than usual. I stopped touching her at night. I avoided her eyes during the day. I was in pain. Not because I didn't love her, but because I couldn't trust her anymore. She broke our agreement, our plan. I felt trapped, alone in a room we built together. A few days later, my mother came back, unannounced. She walked in like a storm, sat down and called for me. "How can you treat Amanda like this?" she began. "She's carrying your child and you're punishing her? Is that how I raised you?" I tried to explain, tried to make her understand that it wasn't about the child. It was about trust, about planning, about the fact that we weren't ready financially, emotionally, spiritually. "Children are blessings," she shouted. "You think you're the one that gives life? If God wants to give you a child, who are you to stop him?" I shook my head. "Mama, you always say God will provide. But look around, go to the streets. What about the children hawking pure water? Those kids begging at traffic lights? Did God not provide for their parents?" She hissed. "Don't compare yourself to others. Your case is different." I smiled bitterly. That's what they all say, until the bills come. Mama stayed 3 more days, raining prayers, olive oil, and unsolicited dreams on our heads. When she left, silence returned to our house. Amanda stayed to herself, cooking and crying. I stayed to myself, thinking and resenting. But slowly, painfully, I began to soften. By the 6th month, I was trying again, talking again, sitting with her as she massaged her feet. One night we were watching Netflix. She sat between my legs and I started loosening her braids. It was one of those quiet healing moments. Then she paused the movie and turned to me. "Honey, I have a confession." I stopped. "What is it?" She took a deep breath. "It was your mom." I blinked. "What?" "She was the one who told me to stop taking the pills, right after our wedding. She said she wanted a granddaughter so badly. She said everything would work out. I didn't move, didn't speak. I just stared at her. She begged me not to tell you," Amanda continued. "She said you'd come around. Please, Chris. I'm sorry. I should have told you. I should have trusted you." She knelt on the floor holding my hand, but I wasn't there. I was somewhere else, floating between anger and heartbreak. I didn't shout. I didn't throw anything. I just said one thing. "We're a team, Amanda. You and I, not you and my mother." Then I walked away. That night I didn't sleep. And what came next changed everything. I didn't speak to Amanda for 2 days, not out of spite, but because I didn't trust myself to say something I wouldn't regret. My silence wasn't punishment. It was my only way of holding myself together. I was torn between 2 betrayals, the woman I loved and the woman who raised me. And the part that hurt the most? They didn't think they did anything wrong. My wife called it a mistake. My mother would probably call it wisdom. But to me, it felt like I had been cornered, tricked, backed into a future I wasn't ready for. On the 3rd day, I woke up and told Amanda we needed to go for a scan. I didn't even wait for her to respond. I grabbed my car keys and stood by the door. She followed me quietly. No makeup, no wig, just one long gown and swollen eyes. I don't even think she slept the night before. In the car, she reached for my hand, but I gently pulled away, not because I hated her, but because if I let myself feel sorry for her, I'd lose the last bit of anger holding me together. We got to the hospital, and she went in for the scan. I sat in the waiting area, tapping my foot and scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself from the growing lump in my chest. When the nurse came out and asked me to come in, I followed her. The doctor was smiling. Too much. I already knew something was off. He turned the screen and said, "Congratulations, sir. You're expecting twins." My brain paused. "Sorry?" I asked. "Twins," he said again. "2 babies, both strong, both boys." I looked at the screen. 2 tiny figures floating in that grainy black and white sea. Amanda turned to me, eyes wide, waiting for a reaction, but I started laughing. Not a joyful laugh. That dry, shaky laugh people do when they're 2 seconds from losing it completely. The doctor tried to high-five me. I almost slapped his hand away. Amanda placed her hand on my chest like she was trying to calm me down, but my body felt like it was vibrating. Not with joy, but with panic. Twins, 2 boys, not 1 baby, 2. My first thought was, how? My second thought was, why me? We walked out of the hospital in silence. Amanda tried to force a smile, but I saw the fear in her eyes. She didn't expect it either. We got into the car, and for the first 5 minutes, I didn't start the engine. I just sat there, thinking, I was the one paying my mother's rent. I was the one sending money every month to Amanda's parents. I was the one paying my brother's school fees. I was the one buying diesel for our small generator. Now I would be the one buying double of everything: diapers, formula, baby clothes, school fees, hospital bills. For two boys who weren't even part of my plan, how would I cope? That evening my mother called. Perfect timing. "My son," she said, her voice bubbling. "Amanda told me. Twins. God has remembered our family. Double portion. Yes, now." I stared at my phone like it was mocking me. "God has blessed us," she continued. "You see, didn't I tell you? Children are a gift, two boys, warriors." I hung up. I didn't trust myself to speak. Later that night, Amanda came to sit beside me. She placed her head on my shoulder and whispered, "I didn't know it would be twins." I didn't respond. She added, "I know this isn't what we planned, but maybe it's what we need." I stood up and walked away, because at that moment, all I wanted was peace. The kind of peace you get when there's no pressure, no expectations, no rent to send, no diapers to buy, just silence and breathing. For the next week, I moved like a robot. I went to work. I came back. I bathed Amanda's feet in warm water and rubbed her back when she couldn't sleep. But it was mechanical. I did it because it was the right thing to do, not because my heart was in it. Then one night I stood by the window, watching the street below. Amanda was asleep on the couch, belly rising and falling. I looked at her, and something broke inside me. Not anger this time. Fear. I had seen fathers snap under pressure, good men, men who started gambling to survive, men who became strangers to their children. I had seen men run away, not because they were cowards, but because they felt like the world was choking them. And for the first time, I understood. I looked at Amanda's face, so calm, so unaware of the storm inside me, and I asked myself a question I never thought I'd ask. What if I disappeared, just vanished, left them the house, sent small money every month from wherever I ended up? Maybe Ghana, maybe Canada, maybe just somewhere where nobody knew my name. I knew it was wrong, but I also knew it was real. The next morning, Amanda made me tea. She placed the cup beside my bed and kissed my forehead. "I know you're angry," she said, "but I also know you. You'll rise above this." I didn't respond. I just nodded. But deep down, I wasn't sure anymore, because this wasn't just about Amanda, or Mama, or the twins. This was about me, Chris, a man who had built his life on logic, planning, and control, now drowning in chaos. And the worst part, nobody knew I was drowning. 3 days before Amanda's due date, I disappeared. Not in the dramatic way you might think. I didn't pack a bag or write a note. I just left the house early in the morning, drove out of the estate and kept driving. No destination, no plan. The streets of Abuja were still waking up. Hawkers were setting up tables. Danfo buses honked like they had something to prove. But inside me, silence, heavy, hollow silence. Hollow. I stopped at a petrol station and sat in the car for 2 hours. Engine off, AC off. Just me and my thoughts. I imagined what my life would look like 6 months from now. Sleepless nights, screaming twins, unpaid bills, Amanda crying because the Pampers had finished again and the transfer hadn't gone through. I felt trapped, like I was being buried slowly, but expected to smile through it. My phone buzzed. Amanda. I didn't answer. Then Mama called. Then again. Then again. I turned off the phone. I stayed out until 10 p.m. When I finally returned, Amanda was sitting at the dining table. No food, just water. Her eyes were swollen, her wig was off, and her hand rested gently on her stomach, like she was trying to protect the boys from me, or maybe from the world. She didn't shout, she didn't cry. She just looked at me and said, "Are you still here?" That question cut deeper than any insult. I wanted to say, "Of course I'm here." I wanted to walk over and hold her. But I couldn't, because I wasn't sure I was really here. Not mentally, not emotionally, not spiritually. I walked to the bedroom without a word, slept like someone waiting to be punished. The next morning, Amanda went into labor. No screams, no drama. Just, "Chris, I think it's time." I rushed her to the hospital in silence. My heart beat so fast, I thought I would faint before we got to the gate. I signed every form like a zombie. I watched her disappear behind the theater doors, and then I sat down, alone, and for the first time, I prayed. Not for the boys, not for Amanda, but for me. I prayed to feel something again, joy, peace, even fear, anything but this numbness. An hour passed, 2, then 3. The doctor finally came out, smiling wide like he'd just won a lottery. "Congratulations, Mr. Chris. Your wife is fine. Your sons are perfect." I nodded. That was all I could do. When they brought the babies out for me to see, I looked down at them. Tiny, wrinkled, innocent faces, and all I saw was responsibility. 2 lives that didn't ask to be born. 2 souls that were now my job to protect, to feed, to raise. One of them opened his eyes and blinked at me, and suddenly it hit me. They didn't betray me. They didn't ruin my plan. They were just here, alive. And whether I liked it or not, they were mine. I leaned down and whispered, "I'm sorry, little man." Amanda was asleep when I walked into the room. I stood by her side and watched her breathe. Her hair was messy, her lips were dry, but she looked peaceful, peaceful. After carrying this burden for months, she had betrayed me, yes, but she also bore the weight of the consequences. She endured the swollen feet, the nausea, the emotional distance, and yet she stayed. She believed in something I had given up on. Hope. I sat beside her and held her hand. She stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, and when she saw me, she didn't speak. She just cried. And for the first time in months, I cried too, not from fear, but from guilt, from shame, from the realization that while I was busy feeling like a victim, she had been fighting her own private war. I didn't leave, not because I found strength, but because I found truth. And the truth is, love is not always fair. It's not always beautiful. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it betrays you, but sometimes it also saves you, even when you don't deserve it. Some stories don't have villains, just people. People trying, failing, falling, getting up again. Like Chris, like Amanda, like you, maybe. So before you scroll past this video and return to your own distractions, pause. If you felt something watching this, if it reminded you of your own story or someone you know, don't just go. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Comment and tell us, what would you have done if you were Chris? Like this video, not just for the algorithm, but because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear this story, and you could help them find it. Don't let the next person scroll past without hearing it. You stayed till the end. That means something. Act like it.